Hello everyone, I'm Yue. It's my pleasure to address you today to discuss the French cultural profile and its application in negotiation. I will divide my presentation into these following parts. First, I will introduce the rich cultural background of France, followed by applying insights from Hofstede's cultural dimensions and Salico's 10 factors, shedding light on the unique characteristics of French negotiation style. Then I will dive into a cross-cultural action plan, outlining what is the impact on how French negotiators approach the specific negotiation task and what we can do to help manage the process more effectively and make a conclusion at the end. Let's start with the cultural background. France has a rich and diverse history of political revolution and social movements that spans the centuries. One of the most typical historical events is the French Revolution that instilled value of liberty and equality. In this case, French negotiators potentially emphasize the importance of fair outcomes and mutual respect in negotiations. The French language is known for its precision and elegance, so French negotiators may use language strategically to state their opinions and positions clearly and persuasively. They have a strong sense of national pride in their own language. Being proficient or speaking a little French will increase a good impression in negotiation. In terms of social structure, French society traditionally respects hierarchy and social stratification and place great importance on family and social connections. Etiquette plays a significant role in French interaction, with emphasis on formal dress and greetings. In interpersonal communication, the French attach great importance and special attention to gifts. Items with artistic taste and commemorative meaning are always the best choice. The long tradition of French literature and the artistic expression and appreciation of the French make the communication richer and more vivid. Proper table manner are very important for negotiators to behave appropriately and professionally in international business situations. Also, French people have a high recognition of French wine and will expect negotiation participants to have some knowledge of their cuisine and wine. Hofstede's seminal cultural dimensions provide a comprehensive framework for understanding the underlying values and beliefs that shape French negotiation style. According to the graph, France has a relatively high power distance, scoring 68, indicating the prevalence of hierarchical structures. France falls in the individualism, where people prioritize personal interest and self-independence. When it comes to the motivation towards achievement and success, France has a very low score of 43, indicating that they value quality of life and leisure over competition and achievements. It has the highest score of 86 on the uncertainty avoidance, indicating a design to use structure and planning to cope with uncertainty and ambiguity. France also strike a balance between long-term orientation and upholding traditions, and falls in the middle range of indulgence, implying moderate control over designs and emphasis. Moving on to Salica's 10 factors for understanding cultural difference in negotiation styles. One of the key factors is the negotiation goal. The French value both contrast and relationship building. Therefore, developing trust and fostering a sense of mutual understanding are key prerequisites for successful negotiations with French negotiators. Regarding negotiation attitudes, the French prefer an integrated and win-win approach that seek mutually beneficial solutions. This allows both parties to achieve their respective goals and create shared values. The French also tend to favor a more formal and reserved personal style in negotiations. Etiquette and professionalism are very important. French communication in negotiation is characterized by directness and clarity. French negotiator appreciates honesty and transparency, and expect straightforward expression of ideas and expectations. In terms of time sensitivity, the French strike a balance between punctuality and flexibility. While they recognize the importance of adhering to a great schedule, they are averse to rushing. French culture embraces emotional expression, whereas they generally prefer to maintain a certain level of control and restraints in professional settings. When it comes to the form of agreements, the French typically favor relatively specific and detailed contracts to avoid misunderstanding. In terms of building agreements, the French tend to adopt a deductive approach, starting with establishing general principles and key opinions. Before diving into these details, regarding team organizations, the French place a high value on group consensus, but it is to protect individualism. Finally, the French are risk-averse, as I have mentioned before. Next, I will discuss how to affect the handling of specific negotiation tasks. During the differentiation phase, French negotiators are renowned for their outgoing and talkative, romantic by nature, and a strong appreciation for leisure. They place great emphasis on appropriate greeting based on title, as well as adhering to allegiance and traditional etiquette, engaging in gossip about interesting news, French culture, literature, and art is a good start before a formal negotiation, and French negotiators tend to make a large deal with people they trust. In the exploration phase, French negotiators are aggressive, engaging in intensive back and forth discussion with critical thinking. They weigh the pros and cons to find mutually beneficial outcomes, remaining uncompromising but not rude, just repeatedly interpreting their positions. When it comes to the exchange phase, French negotiators are inclined to express their views openly, addressing conflicts and differences head-on. Rarely do they make concessions unless a logical flaw is identified in their own positions, although they are reluctant to acknowledge that they have to make consensus at the end. To negotiate more effectively with French negotiators, it is imperative to demonstrate a genuine interest in their culture, literature, art, and language in the differentiation phase. Familiarity with French business etiquette, including proper greeting, formal dress, and table manners, is crucial in reflecting politeness and respect. Taking the time to develop personal connections before negotiation lays a strong foundation for trust and cooperation. During the exploration phase, encourage open conversation to explore creative and innovative solutions while sharing information and identifying common goals to build consensus can be particularly effective. Patience, active listening, and clear expression of views and objections are also important. Finally, in the exchange phase, it is advisable to avoid overly strong or conflicting language, focusing instead on finding solutions, making it clear where concessions can be made, and prepare multiple bundles to choose from. Leaving time and room for consensus and a commitment to building a strong long-term relationship can contribute to successful negotiations. In conclusion, navigating negotiations with French negotiators require a deep understanding of their cultural values and the negotiation style. By embracing their emphasis on collaboration and win-win outcomes, we can foster mutually beneficial agreements that honor both parties' interests. Building long-term positive relationships and personal contacts is essential, as trust and rapport play a significant role in French business culture. It is important to maintain polite, formal, and rational throughout the negotiation process. Success is easier to achieve by integrating this principle into negotiations with the French. That's all for my presentation. Here are the references. Thanks for listening.